Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Live, last year, live from the Alps of Austria. 1 o'clock in the morning here in the hotel. First year was in Hebrew, it was about 12 o'clock. It's very interesting. I want to say 25% of the shir right now is Satmar. Last time that ever happened was when I gave a shir in Monroe, and there was 200 Satmars, but now 20%. It's unbelievable. So I met a very chashuv Satmar guy, and he wants to remain anonymous, so we're going to remain anonymous. And I spoke to him, much like I spoke to this other chassid last week, good friend now, Rabbi Levi. And he says, no, he does a shir every day. His wife says, yeah, he goes to shir every day. I said, Givaldik, but here in the Alps, you go to the shir, Mustamanat. He says, no. And Friday, no. Shabbos, no. So it's not every day. Right. You're right. Kitzer, within 5 minutes, he says, okay, I want to check it out. So today's his first day. We're in the middle of Chullin Daf Samach Vav. It's a great place to start. It's always another argument, another very interesting thing happened today. Some guy introduced me to another person that used to do Daf Yomi, and he says, try to convince him to get back on. So I start talking to him. So this guy with a strimel right next to us, he buds and he says, listen, don't start right now. You start Chullin is too hard. You don't start now. Start later. So I had a whole conversation with him. If I had to give him, explain to him how it works. So that guy actually showed up today to the Hebrew shir. What did he say? Don't start. Chullin is too hard. So he said, first of all, Chullin is not hard. Chullin is easy. It's from the easier Masechtas. A lot of people say it's hard. It's not true. But this is Atzasa Yetzer. When you have an inspiration to start something, it doesn't matter what, Torah, business, working out, whatever it is, do it right now. You don't wait. You don't push off, oh, when the vacation is over, I'm going to go on a diet. That never happens. That never works. Side number one is start right now. That's why Daf Samach Vav Medalev is the best daf in Shas to start. If that's when you start, that's when you start. And you make a siyum when you get to Chullin Daf Samach Vav Medalev. That's your siyum Shas. Say that. That being said, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, we're going to skip all the emails, all the geschmack stuff that we do before shir. And we're jumping right in. If somebody eats a tray of fish.
Sponsors.
Oh, you're right. We got to do sponsors. Sponsors we can't skip. Shkoyach. Remind me your name again?
Mine, why? 10 times already. Moshe Bamde.
That's not enough for me.
10 times. Write it down.
10 times.
You write it down.
Moshe Bander?
Bamde, B-A-N-D-A.
Banda. He's the only guy that came for the full 2 weeks while I was here. And he's an MD Wire. Okay, Givaldi. Official edition MD Wire Shas, Masechta, sponsored by Zevin Yal Sholof, Perek by Ilan and Mary Davidovich. He says you said it's not the Davidici. You don't pronounce the I at the end? Davidovich. So why is there an I at the end? Davidovich. Ilan and Mary Davidovich. A very interesting thing happened that Ilan was sitting right next to Alex at the Suda, and they became like best of friends. The wives didn't stop schmoozing. At the end, I don't know what, they made their own Suda, the wives by themselves, and the husbands over there. It was a beautiful Shabbos, beautiful Shabbos. Official edition of the White Shas. So first of all, Yishkoyach for sponsoring the Perek, and Yishkoyach, I could say again, Yishkoyach for sponsoring the name of the Sefer Torah. Thank you. The Daf Samach Vav, Naftali Salomon, to Reb Eli and the MDY team, thank you for changing my life and so many others through your Torah each day. Shkoyach. David Salomon. The Masechta sponsored by David Salomon, dedicated in memory of Avi Meir, Reb Shmuel Baruch Ber Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv Zichron Levracha, and the Palachik Family Foundation in honor of the MDY Latin America and their warm hospitality. Anonymous, and thank you to Chief Benny, who's sitting right here on my left. Shmuel Anahova Schuster for Kedima Atzloch and Nachas for our children. Anonymous for complete refuah shleima and arichas yom to Leibas Esther. B'yom Daniel Rosenfeld Brias for Simcha. Multi-sponsors Anonymous Le'nishmas Yonatan Eitan Ben Mordechai Zev HaKoyin Zichron Levracha, and the Tzvi's Le'nishmas Yonatan Eitan Ben Mordechai Zev HaKoyin Zichron Levracha. By Yair Simon refuah shleima Avi Meir Baruch by Miriam. The weekly sponsors, the Spanish year sponsors, a big refuah shleima to a close friend Naftali Heretz Ben Chayo Pesio, Stress family Le'nishmas Chaim Gavriel Ben Ariel Jacobson on his P'tir Friday. Yudches Tammuz, daily sponsors Yitzchak Hershkowitz and Mordechai Sapaznik, Lazich Nishmas Rachamim, Ben Sadio, and Yemima Harari. And the art, what are you looking at? Ben Sadio. And the art month, L'Refuah Shneim Mordechai Ben Esther, L'Refuah Ayelet, Daniel Zev Ben Ayelet Esther. So here's the shayla: if a guy eats a non-kosher fish, what is he over on? That's one question we're going to be dealing with today. What is he over? Is it the Raisa, the Rabbanon, two Isurim? So we're going to see it's actually Isur Asay and an Isur Lois Asay, two Isurim. Another question that happens in New York, there's a big controversy in New York, drinking water full of worms. I saw it with my own eyes. They showed me a glass bottle just from the tap. You open up the faucet, put it in. You see these little guys swimming around in the water. They live in the water. Are you allowed to drink it halachically? It's a little gross, but are you allowed to drink it? So these are things that we're going to be discussing today. You have in herring, you have worms that grow in herring and different fish, different worms. So we're going to see there's certain heterim to eat worms. Doesn't have to be crushed up. If the worm was created in the fish, that's one thing that you might be allowed to eat. If it's created in water, but the water was in a kli, that's another thing you're allowed to drink. But if it's not from a kli, it's from a river. So what about the water here? We were on a hike the other day, and my son starts drinking the water. I said, "Stop!" He's older. He's married. So he says, "This is the best water in the world." So you're not worried about leeches, this, that. So it says in Eretz Yisrael, when you go on a hike, there's big signs: don't drink from the water. There could be leeches, there could be worms, different things. So I looked it up tonight. It said, but in the Alps it's different. The Alps, most likely, it's good as long as it's moving. You're good. Okay. So we're holding the first words in Daf Samach Vav and Aleph. What's going on? Today we're going to finish up the sugya of grasshoppers. We're in the middle of grasshoppers. And then we're going to move on to the sugya of fish. So here's a grasshopper. Grasshopper, the simonim that the Torah tells us they have four wings, and the four wings cover most of their body. They also have four legs, and then they have these jumpers called kartsulayim. The Gemara here calls it kruayim. These guys, they're massive compared to the legs, and then they push on them and it launches them. They jump very far. They don't even need it. They have wings. Okay. So, I was just thinking maybe it's like the aircraft carrier. You get launched by that wire thing, but it also has its own. It could fly by itself, but it gives it a little bit of a head start. That's a chagov. Now, the Gemara says there's 800 types of chagavim that are tamei, and today, scientists, whatever, they know about 11,000, I think it was, 11,000 types of chagavim. It doesn't say tamei, not tamei, so it's not a steer to what the Gemara says. The Gemara says there's 800, which is not a guzma. 800 is a low number. There's 800 types of chagavim that are tamei. The Torah tells us only about 4. On the bottom pasuk you see, it says, Ha'ar b'liminoi, v'sasolam l'minayu, v'sachargu l'minayu, v'sachagav l'minayu. 4. The first pasuk is a very general klal. It says, if it has these jumpers, the 2 jumpers, you're allowed to eat it. So 800 types of this, 11,000 types of grasshoppers that have jumpers, you're allowed to eat it. That's pasuk Chav Aleph. But pasuk Chav Beis says, no, not so fast. It has to be one of these 4. So, what's going on here? So yesterday we saw Machloikes, as you see on Daf Samachem and Aleph on the bottom. You don't have to go there, but I'll just read it. It says, the one man Omar says that from these 4, I just put it, I changed it a little bit today, Limino, Limineu, Liminei, Limineu, the 4 Liminois, because we're going to need it for the next sugis. I changed what's red and what's blue. But anyway, there's 4 extra types. In addition to these 4 that the pasuk brings, there's another 4 that you're allowed to eat. Tziporis kromim. If you remember, I said yesterday, this Gemara in Shabbos says if you eat half of this tziporis kromim and you learn a lot of Torah, learn the whole Shas, and then you eat the second half, you'll remember it all forever. That's Gemara in Shabbos. So Alex told me that if I could find him this thing, he'll give $10,000 to MDY. I think it's low. Something like that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, $10,000. So I'm not going to go look for it now.
For Israel, anyway.
That's for Israel. Israel wants. Okay. And by the way, happy birthday to Israel. He's 10 years old today. How many daf do you do, Israel? Berach. How many? You did a few mesechtas?
Huh?
A few hundred?
Probably
Times
over
2.
100. I don't know.
Which Masechta did he start from?
English.
Oh, that's right. I mean, today it's the second shear. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Is it a second shear?
We're counting double
I heard
share.
that one.
Hmm?
English and Yiddish.
Yiddish. Yiddish is coming out soon. You know that.
In AI. No?
In AI. AI Yiddish. All right. So now, and the four that the Gemara says, Tziporis Kram, Yoichan Yushalmi Bar Tzuvia. Tziporis Kramim, Yoichan Yushalmis, Bar Tzuvia Varazbonis. The Yoichan Yushalmis is one, Bar Tzuvia Varazbonis. Okay, fine. We're not going to remember those names anyways. No nafkamina. So now we're holding Daf Samach Vav Mandalav on top. Oh, and the other Mandomar says that it's a klal prato klal. We're going to get into that. That if it has a long head, comes to talk about this long-headed guy. Where is he? Here, the long-headed guy. This is a grasshopper. There's a long head, and comes to exclude this. It comes to be a mar, but just the long-headed guy comes to exclude a cricket. If you're in the mountains, if you're in Eretz Yisrael, they have crickets everywhere. They make a lot of noise. They look very, very similar to a grasshopper. Has the four legs, 2 jumpers. It even has a little bit of a tail going on, but it's not a grasshopper. Okay. So until we get to the fish, we have to finish off the grasshopper situation. What's the machlokes between Tana Rav, the Tanakama, and the Rabbi Shmuel? They're arguing about this guy right over here on the screen, the long-headed grasshopper. Tana Rav Savar Asher Loikro Ayim Klal, Arbes Solom Chargel Cholav Mineu Prat. So the Satmars for sure say Korbunas every single day. So they know what Klal Prat is. I'm not going to talk to them. What's Klal Prat? It's very, very simple. Oh, we could do this. Favus nisht. This is Klal. Klal means everything. Everything. Torah says anything that has a jumper, you're allowed to eat. So if I just stopped right there, I could eat everything. Greens, blues, yellows, all the colors, all the shapes. The problem is that the Torah says, 4. It went from 11,000 to 4. So what do you do when you have a generalization and then a miut, a prat? It stops the whole klal. There's nothing. The klal is gunished, and you go straight to the prat. Only 4. Instead of 11,000, now we have 4. We say it all the time in Kabbalah. Sometimes you don't know what we're talking about. But klal prat ain't but klal. The klal is nothing. We go with the prat. It's very, very different. If I add another klal at the end, then it becomes a sandwich. Then I add a lot of stuff. What stuff? Everything that's similar to the prat gets added. So now I went from 4 to 200. If the 200 are similar to the 4, then it's all the 200. But right now, I'm just at a klal and a prat. Klal and prat, ain ba klal and prat. The mine in, if it's those 4, yes. The lav mine loy. End the story. But what? It says we do add. And what are we going to add? We're going to add anything that has two similarities. First of all, it has to have the 4 simanim. What are the 4 simanim? Nachamal. 4 legs, 4 wings, 2 jumpers, and the 4 wings, they cover most of the body. That's one side. Second side is it doesn't have a long head. Here, if you look closely at this picture right over here, you'll see that these guys, there was a whole sugi yesterday. It has here, doesn't have here. This guy, if you notice, he has a tail. This guy's the one next to him on the left is the long-headed one. Okay. And the one, the Chagav, is boring, has nothing special about it. Doesn't have a long head, doesn't have a tail, and he's bald. Okay. Says Gemara, Tana Baby Shmuel comes along and says, no. Instead of me just adding 4 types of grasshoppers that are similar to the 4 types in the Torah, I have the jumpers, anything that has a jumper, that's a cloud. The Torah talks about 4 special ones, that's prat. But then the Torah says in here, that's why I did it in the pasuk. You can see Asher lo Kirayim, which is in red. Oops, yeah, that's a klal. It means all the grasshoppers. But then the Torah says Solom is a prat, and then limineu on the bottom of the pasuk 4 times it says limineu. That's another klal. That makes it a sandwich. Have a klal in the beginning, klal at the end, and the very only 4 types of grasshoppers in the middle. That's a klal, prat, klal. Prat. So it lets me add a lot of things, but they have to be similar to the prat. And umar b'kol d'dam b'chatzad. It only has to be similar to one thing. So what's the one thing that has to be similar? As long as it has the 4 simanim, 4 feet, 4 wings, 2 jumpers, and the 4 wings cover most of the body, and that could include many, many grasshoppers. Okay, so we're done with that. The Gemara asks, what kind of sandwich is it? If you take rye bread on the bottom and you put a bagel on the top, that's not a good sandwich. That's a funny kind of sandwich. If you're going to give me one klal that's like this and another klal that's different, that's not a klal, brother klal. The first one is not similar to the second one. Why? The first klal is that it should have jumpers. So the second klal should also be jumpers. No. It has to have jumpers plus 4 legs plus 4 wings and the chayve roiv gufay. So maybe it's not a klal prat klal. Says Gemara it is. Why? I told Rabbi Shmuel b'klal prat ki hagav nedayin. Rabbi Shmuel holds that this is a klal prat klal in all of Shas. But believe it or not, this is the mikar. He learns it from we in the rest of Shas know that Rabbi Shmuel learns like that from our sugi right here. It's from this sugi right over here. We continue weiter. Geschmack. We're doing quick. It's going to be a quick share today. Sorry. 45 minutes max. All right, what? Oh, that's right. I have to say yishkoyach to Kobe Goldschmidt, one of our editors, but he's online right now doing all the technology because Mark Ashkenazi, he's in America, and it's still Shabbos. And it is 2:30 in the morning by him. So yishkoyach gadol ma'od. We have a crazy dedicated staff that they all step in when needed. We had a fight. Who's going to do this? Avrami Cohen said, I'll do it. He said, no, I'll do it. Kids, they might both be on right now. I don't even know. I called upon him. Not a real fight. A fight l'shem shamayim. Obamar, new sugya. Ishmay Chagov. We said yesterday, as long as his name is Chagov. So there's a Maisa. Huh? Let me say the name. Victor. There's a very famous story in Bet Shemesh where a guy sold hundreds of apartments. It's called Chefziba. And people put a lot of money down on it, and the guy that developed it ran away. He got into a lot of trouble, he messed everybody over, and he ran away to Italy. So the Shabak went down to Italy, and they found him. But how did they find him? They weren't sure if it was him or not. So they screamed out his name. They said, Victor! And he turned around, and they said, oh, it's you. And they grabbed him, they brought him back to Israel, and whatever they did to him, they did to him. Meanwhile, hundreds, maybe thousands of frum people lost their life savings. Akopanim, once the name, that's his name. If his name is Chagov, then he's good. He's good to go. He's a grasshopper. Ask the Gemara, that makes no sense. We said that a grasshopper has to have 4 simanim. Who cares if they call him a grasshopper? Oh, I need a pasuk to tell me that that he has to have the simanim. As the Gemara, so why should I say that he's kosher? We had a klal, brother klal. Dafka, that it has to be the simanim. Says Gemara, I'll tell you why. Oh, we have the klal brother. Eloiksiv salam to the cameras. You're right. If it wouldn't have the third one, salam. Which one is it? The second one, salam. But it says salam. And what do I learn from salam? If he's a weird-looking grasshopper, he has a shtick of long head, then it's still kosher. So once I make an exception to the rule. I say that a long-headed guy is kosher. So Mela, I would think that anything is kosher, even if his name is Chagav, even without the simanim. Kamash will know you need the 4 simanim. There's no monkey business here. And finally, the last sugya for the grasshoppers, and this is very simple, just 3-4 lines here, but it's very simple. Yesterday we said that the solam, the one without a tail, here, let me show you the tail. I got to show you the tail one. This is with the tail. See that long thing in the back? There's a type of grasshopper that has a tail. That's the name Chargol, Zanipul. Chargol is with a tail. Solam's without a tail. But yesterday we said Solam, they call him a Russian. And Chargol, we call him an Ipul. And today, the arm is Solam's an Ipul, Chargol is a Russian. We flipped it. Says Gemara, Marki Asrei, Marki Asrei. It depends on what city you live in. Sometimes you call it a Ipul, sometimes you call it a Russian. But the basic stays. Solam is without a tail, and Chargol is with a tail. Just sometimes you call a Solam Russian, and sometimes you call a Solam Nipul. That depends on the city. But a Solam is always without a tail. Okay, here we go. We're new sugya. The sugya of fish. So the Torah says, that we learned in the Mishnah. Kaskeses is like the armor, the little things that he has on all the scales on his body. They peel off. Oh, that's the Ramban I didn't say in the Hebrew. I wanted to say it. And I said, I'll say it later. So let me say it now so I don't forget. The Ramban says, I just like the way, if you ever watch the guy in the fish store, he takes the knife, he goes, and it comes right off. In other words, it's a lavush. We're going to see in a second. It's the lavush of Goliath. It's a armor that goes on top of the body. It's not part of the body. Snapir, the fin is part of the body. You can't just take a knife. You could cut it off, but it doesn't scrape off. The fact that the scales scrape off, that's more like a beged, more like a lavush. So says the Gemara, what if he's born without it, but later on he develops it? Yoshi felt that this is something that we should show, so I'm going to show it. I'm not even sure what this is, to tell you the truth.
Developing of the skill.
But in what? What is this? This is a video. This is a CAT scan. What is this? What technology is this? I don't know. Okay. Developing it. Okay. Say that. Here's just the kaskesis. A guy, the fish is the size of this person. That white stuff, yeah? Comes right off. Look how big it is, no?
You're right.
Catfish doesn't have scales. Stop. If you have scales, is it possible to have scales without a snapper?
No.
Scales without fins.
Without.
You're saying you're asking a question. If the Torah says snapper kaskeses, so obviously you can have one without the other. And we're going to see no. If you have kaskeses, you have scales, you automatically have snapper. So what's the question? The question is going to be then why does the Torah have to say snapper? Just say kaskeses. There's one simon. Because Gemara says you're right. At the end of the day, it's true. No, that's later on. No, that's for different sugi. Okay, so let's say, the Gemara says, let's say right now he's born without scales, but he's going to develop scales later when he becomes a big boy. Kigoin hasultanis. So what's sultanis? Rashi says, Belaz toinina. Sounds like tuna. But they say it's not mamish. And what they claim, the archwell says at least, that sultanis is what we call today herring. Okay? Vafyon on a flyer. I have no idea. I just made that up. If he has scales, but it comes off when they pull him out of the water. Kigoin. For instance, akunos vafunos, kesaptayos, vaktastapayos, vatunos. Oh, this is more like tuna. Harez mutar. When you talk about tuna, I always have to show this picture. I'm very proud of this picture. I only went fishing once in my life, basically. And they took me on a thing. This is years ago, before I was a Maggid Shir. I had time. 2 hours to get there from Eretz Yisrael, from the shore of Eretz Yisrael. 2 hours out, boom, you catch tuna. I didn't have how choshev it is to catch it's a small tuna, but it's very, very tasty. So I didn't check to see if its scales fall off or not. I don't remember it having scales b'chlal, but it was kosher. And he says, Harez mutar. So here's a video of them catching these fish. And when you pull it out of the water, their scales come off just by pulling it out of the water. How do you know? Because after he's all excited, but look at how many, the whole thing is full of their scales. It just pops off. Okay? They had to wash off their deck. Givaldik. Satmars, they go fishing, it's not a thing by Satmar. They don't even know what that is.
You need a license.
Huh?
Anything goes.
Really? Well, what about you? Kaimelnisht. I didn't think so. Not awesome.
Sponsors.
Oh, sponsors.
Whoa, check it out. Yeah.
His mom is on it. But he was on it the first day. It's not like it took him 2 weeks. He's been on it. Some people, they prepare this for months. I'm going to go this year, I'm going to see sponsors. Adar Glow, the official non-corporate sponsor of the MDY League. Encore Healthcare as a schus for all of Klal Yisrael Geschmack. What? Hi, Simon. He's preparing though. He's gonna, as soon as we get there, it's gonna be like he's gonna let everything all. Not awesome. Kol sheyeshli keskeses yeshli snapper. You hear this? A yisoid. If a fish has scales, he automatically has a snapper. Remember, Rav Genachovsky says, you hear this? He says, Givaldik. He says, what's kaskeses? It protects the fish. What's snapper? It gets you places. You go like this, gets you places. He says you can't go places if you don't have a protection. You have to have protection in ruchnius. You have to protect your guf, your neshama. First you protect, then once you protect, then you go. So the ikr of a person, the ikr of the fish is the kaskeses. We don't care about the snapper. V'yeshli snapper v'enli kaskeses. What's pshat? Yeshli kaskeses v'yeshli snapper. If he has kaskeses, he has the armor. Then automatically has a snapper, dog tar. Then it's tar. Yeshli snapper. If he only has fins, v'enli kaskeses. He doesn't have kaskeses. Dag tome. This is a tome fish. So the Gemara asks right away. First of all, I want to show you Tosfos. Tosfos has a kasha. How did Chacham know this? How do they know? Here's Tosfos. I looked it up. There's 37,000 types of fish. There's only 6,800 types of animals. There's 37,000 types of fish. How in the world the Chacham, what they went in, they scuba dive down deep and they know every fish? It's not possible. Where were they that they knew all this? So he says at the end, he says, maybe, maybe they got it from Adam Rishon. They had such a Kabbalah from Adam Rishon. The Kloisenberger Rebbe says, we'll see it in a second. In Yagdul Torah V'Yadar, I'll say it. Remind me to say the Kloisenberger. But now, based on this Tosfos, it's more Gishmak. So, Yeshli is not really Kaskeses, Dag Tomei. Ask the Gemara Davi's question. We rely solely on the kaskeses, on the scales. We don't care about the snapper. So then why in the world, so why does the Torah even mention fins? They're not important. The main thing is the kaskesas. Says Gemara, because of snapper. I don't even know what kaskesas means. It's a funny word. What's snapper? So I would think that snapper means scales. So maybe I would start eating tummy fish. That's why. That's why I need both. Says Gemara, how do you know which one is what? They say it says both. So okay, one of them means armor, one of them means scales, one of them means fins. But how do you know which one is what? Because it says by Goliath, when David HaMelech went to fight Goliath, he's wearing a whole armor. It says Mefurish kaskasim. That's like we have today armor, one piece of metal on top of the other. That's what scales look like. Which everybody asks, Goliath is a Navi. How do I know? And what? And from the Torah until David HaMelech, we didn't know what it was. So they talk about it. They didn't know. We don't know. Okay. So now that we know, and here's the bigger question. Now from Goliath, from David HaMelech, we know what kaskasa means. So why does the Torah have to tell us both? Which is interesting how the two things go together. It's a pasuk. It's to enhance the Torah, to make it more geschmack and to more interesting. We have snapper, we have kaskesses. Kaskesses is enough, but it says snapper v'kaskesses. Now we know that when you have kaskesses, you have snapper. But over here, the Kloisenberger Rebbe says, and that's based on what Tosfos says that other Mauritian already knew, that Yagdil Torah Yadir is a way to tell Klal Yisrael Torah is real. How do I know Torah is real? The Chachamim had, it's not, I don't want to use the word, I'm not going to use that word, not a good word. Chachamim had no problem stating a fact and saying that snapir, kaskeses, is the siman, and automatically you have, if you have kaskeses, you have snapper. 2,000 years later, we have scuba diving gear, and we have submarines. We could go down to see the Titanic, and down there, that fish that you don't have up there, that fish that never come up. Now these fish, you ever seen these pictures? Giant light in front. It has like a tube and a light in front, and it swims like 3,000 feet below the surface, and other fish go to it. It's like this thing right over here. This maybe I should show it. Oh, that guy, that zapper right over there. It attracts flies. That thing, and his light, he has a glowing thing, and it attracts other fish to it, and then he eats them. So how did Chacham know that if he has, I have to do this. Let's see if it works. Oh, worked. So how did Chacham know this? That all the fish in the world, if they have kaskasim, that's the Yagdil Torah V'Yadir. That is, it's proof that Torah Min Hashamayim, that they were able to say things. We saw a similar thing about Behemoths and Chayas. They were able to say that even later generations, you'll never find the fish that has kaskasim and doesn't have fins. Torah Rabbana. The Torah says, eat fish that have snapper v'kaskesses, and don't eat fish that don't have snapper v'kaskesses. It's basically saying the same thing twice. Why? Because if I tell you eat fish that have snapper v'kaskesses, that means don't eat fish that don't have. Hold on, did I miss a video? Oh no, didn't. Gotta show that one.
Fish standpoint.
His dogging. That's that. That was a very interesting one. Oh, that one, yeah. Okay. So we'll get to it in a second. So ask the Gemara a simple question. Since it says you should eat, do eat. So don't eat something that doesn't have something. And then the second passage, it says don't eat that. And I learned the opposite. That if it don't eat this, but you could eat one that has sour. So why does the Torah repeat itself? Oh, so remember this. I think it's something important to remember. If a person is stuck in China and he has a taiva to eat a eel, a funny fish, you should know that you're over on 2 Yisurim. Lavar levasei v'loisasei. First, you're over in a loisasei, the usual, but also in an asei. Because it says, do eat fish that have snabber v'kaskeses. Oh, and now we're getting to this super interesting. Let me just show you this first. It's not music. It is all a cappella. But it's in Hebrew. So Satmar, please close your ears. Just read the
היי
subtitle.
משגיח, רחמונו ליצלן, אנחנו חנות למהדרין, לא ככה. אז איך יש פה דגים שהשם ישמור? חייבים לבדוק מטעמה ומטהור. ההוא בלי הקסקסת, לא כשר. הדג בלי הסנפיר, לא כשר. ועוד אחד בלי קסקסת, לא כשר. איזנישט שייך. למה יש דגים כאלה במטבח? תגיד, לא למדת דף יומי? אם עוד לא צמחה קסקסת, הדג כשר. אם נשרה קסקסת, הדג כשר. כל שיש לו קסקסת,
יש לו סנפיר.
הדג כשר. אבל רגע, דג שלו לומד דף יומי, מעיז לדבר. קחו אותו מכאן, מהר.
It's a typical Yossi Shachar video. He's our Shabbos, Friday and Shabbos, our weekend artist. He's the one that did him Allah Lo Yered. Same, okay. Right, I don't know if it's a good video to show a Satmar, first time Satmar to the Shir, but okay. It is what it, huh?
He's mine.
He did, you saw him?
Oh, yeah.
The next one, I didn't even show the other one in the Hebrew Shir. We went without showing it, but I'll show it. I'll show the next one. First of all, it's at a very high level of art. What it comes to show, I don't know exactly. It shows one of our Yingalite in the Koil, Eliyakim, I don't know, that I know. Says the Gemara, okay, we did this. No. Toichlu. So this is the Sugi Rabboisai of eating worms, beheter. You're allowed to eat worms. Why? You're allowed to eat worms that grew within a kli. Not worms that grew in the ocean, not worms. So I want to show you the 4 types of water that we're talking about. Very important. There's Yamim and Nechalim. Nechalim we all know. We all went today to see the Nachal right across the street. Streams of water. This is not even a guzma. This is what it looks like over here. With those pink, purple flowers. I don't know if you noticed, they also have purple moths here. Purple moths. Yam, this is one type of, but there's also another type of water called charitzim and ne'itzim. This is actually water that's moving, constantly comes out of the ground. You could make a hole in the ground, but it's water from the Tahaim. Then we have bar, shiach, umara. What's the difference between a bar, shiach? It's all the same thing. One is round, that's a bar. I know some people call it siach, shiach. Shiach is a square or rectangle, and ma'ara means it has a cover. It's like it's a cave. You what? Yeah, like in Gaza, like what they try to do to them in Gaza, fill it up with water and then, yeah. So those are and then we have one more. We have, this is the worst of the worst. This is the furthest thing from a yam, and that's putting water in a kli. So the other interesting thing was, I think I mentioned it here, but yeah, the idea of drinking straight out of a river. It's like, are you going to eat something you're not supposed to eat? Are there any worms in there? No. So he said it's fine. I guess it's fine. Sheimani toichlu. That's where we are. Toichlu mikol asher b'mayim matam aloymer. Eat anything that's in the water. Sheyachol ho'el v'yite b'meforish v'yite b'stam, which we're going to discuss more tomorrow. There's a pasuk that tells you straight out that you could eat these worms that grow in the water. And there's a pasuk that's more of a nister, it's sasum. Ma kishehitir b'meforish lehitir b'kelim. The pasuk that says straight out that you're allowed to eat these worms The heter is when it's in a vessel, in a kli. So too, the other pasuk that talks about stam, we're going to show the two psukim, but we don't know which one is what today. Benai in the rabbis boros shichinu ma'aros. So you could bend down and drink straight out of the bar, and you don't have to worry about all these worms. We're going to see if mamish to us is going to be mind blowing that you're allowed to lechatchila eat worms in certain situations. Pasuk says, eat everything that's in the water. Worms. You could eat all these fish that are in the water that have snap rivikaskeses. Only from the ocean and the nachal are you allowed to eat with snap rivikaskeses. The less leilei teichol. Only from those places you must have snap rivikaskeses. Oh, bekalim afagad the less teichol. But if they grow up in a vessel, so even if they don't have snap rivikaskeses, you're allowed to eat it. So in New York, they're saying that a lot of the water is the water. It's a shayla. Is the water coming from a river, or the water comes from a reservoir? Remember, in the mountains, you drive by. There's like a reservoir. It's like stale water. They put it in there, or like those giant water towers.
Central Park has a reservoir in Manhattan. It's very big.
In the
park.
Middle of the park.
Reservoir of water.
Okay. But you see it more like when you go to these cities in America, you see this big tower, those big balloons, and then that's a kli. That's mamsh a kli. It's a kli on the ground, attached to the ground. It's more like it's karka. Okay. So, but the Torah tells us that if it grows up in a kli, you're allowed to eat this worm. Obviously, it's not a worm that grew up somewhere else and jumped into the kli. It has to grow up in the kli. What about if it comes out of the kli? What if it goes up the walls of the kli and then goes back in? So that's going to be the discussion tomorrow also. That's fine because it's normal for it to go up, down, as long as it didn't come from another place. Ask the Gemara, Ema, maybe learn it differently. Ema bekalim afagav de islay loiteichal. You're making a difference between the ocean and a kli. And somehow you came out that if it grows up in a kli, you're allowed to eat it. Maybe if it grows up in a kli, even if it has snap rivikesses, you cannot eat it. That makes more sense almost. We don't eat worms, right? We're not worm-eating people. Says Gemara, no. I'll tell you why, because we have another pasuk now. No, that shouldn't even enter your mind. Only from the oceans and the rivers, if they don't have snapper gases, you're not allowed to. And these are the two psukim that we're talking about, the mafurish and the sasam. That what we come to the same conclusion that when you have these creatures that grow in a kli, you're allowed to eat. Ask the Gemara of Eimo b'mayim klal. Here, check this out. So we have a klal. What's a klal? All the types of waters, all four waters that we discussed: the ocean, the charitzin, the bar, and the kli. Because it says the word mayim. Mayim means all water. And then we have a prat. If I could get to it somehow. Prat. It says bayamim ubenachalim. Only these two. Then we have another klal that says b'mayim again. But take a look at the pasuk. If you see the pasuk inside, it's all you're gonna ask the question yourself. Look what it says over here. It says b'mayim. That's a klal, and then the prat is bayam v'nechalim ma'izim dechelu. The prat is at the end of the pasuk. What's the problem? Usually we have a sandwich. We have b'mayim in the beginning. Bayamim and Nechalim Ma'aseh Techelu should be in the middle, and then once again afterwards Bayamim, Ba'mayim. But over here we have klal, prat. Does that work? So let's see. Ve'imo b'mayim klal b'yam v'nechol prat klal prat ein b'klal l'masher b'prat. So first of all, the Gemara doesn't go to the klal prat klal. Huh?
You skip B'yam ben Cholim Dles La Loy Tegel.
Little up.
B'yam ben Cholim Dles La Loy Tegel. Who bekelim avagav the last Echol.
I think I said that. Ve'imo b'mayim klal b'yam v'nechol prat klal prat ein b'klal l'masher b'prat. So now the Gemara starts that it's not a klal prat. It's a klal and then a prat. And what happens when you have a klal and a prat? We don't care about the klal at all. We go to the prat. The what? Ma prat yamun ucholim in ni'itzim v'charitzin loy. We're going to take even the thing closest to the yam. What's number 2 on the list? Ni'itzim v'charitzin. They come out of the ground. No good. Says, well, no, I have a klal prat klal. B'mayim. There's another b'mayim. Chazav v'kolal. Now I have a klal prat klal. But says the Gemara, here's Charizim. Says the Gemara, but Hanatrei Klal the Smichla Dadinino. But the 2 Mayims, let's go back to that pasuk for a second. The 2 Mayims are one after another. How does that work? Hanatrei Klal the Smichla Dadinino. Amar Avin is not a problem. Kedamar Marav, they said it's Israel. When you have these 2 Mayims one after another. It's not. We pretend as if it's a sandwich, as if the word b'mayim, the second b'mayim, goes all the way to the end of the pasuk. So we have b'mayim klal, b'yam v'necholim. It says all the way to the end of the pasuk b'yam v'necholim. That's a prat. It says once again b'mayim chazav v'kolal klat upral uklat iya klal uprat uklal. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. What do you expect? Klal uprat. My first day, he's going to make a Sima Shas B'ez Hashem. He's going to say, my first day was when he gave a shir at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he was so famished, and his eyes were closing, and he's saying, prat, cloud, clot, prat. He didn't know what he was talking about, but it was still Givaldik. And I'm here, and I'm saying, I'm making a Sima Shas B'ez Hashem. You hear this? B'ez Hashem. Klal uprat uklal iatadon elokeina prat. So now that we have a sandwich, so the prat is not so bad. The prat just gives us direction. It tells us it should be similar to this. You could add a lot of types of waters, but they have to be similar to the prat. Ma prat meforish mayim noivim. It's water that keeps on coming out. I've called mayim noivim. So what does that include, my rabbi? Charitzim uni'isim ni'itzim li'isura. Hold on. Let me show you this crazy video. Mamish Meshuga. I have to understand what's going on here. This is a special restaurant that serves worms. You can eat worms that grow in a kli. Oh, and here's that fish that has that light bulb on top. That's where I got it from. Okay, great. This is Rebbe Yaakov from the Koil. He's in charge of this restaurant. He helps out a lot with the videos and the humor. And how do I get it to go though? Oh, that's the balloon in front, trying to grab people's attention. Shrimp, Yokim's and Shlomo's. If you eat it straight from the thing, it grew up in an aquarium. You're allowed to eat it. Then you can fill the fish. That's a puffer fish. There's a sushi eel. It's all in the water. It doesn't come out, so they serve it straight. They do mishlochim, they do deliveries with it. How do they have time to do this stuff? AI, you know how long it takes to make something like this. Rabbi Sai, have a good tavach, Yishkoich for joining. Be'ezer Hashem. Oh, I have to finish? Thank you. My Rabbi, sorry, where am I? My Rabbi Charizin is in Isura. My Miyat is Klal Prat Klal. What do you take out? Boirois, Shichin, Umaris, Leteira. Those you're allowed to eat from, but Charizim Nitzim is like the river in the ocean, and that's also to eat from. If you want to eat the Geshmaka, things that grow, the tray for things that grow, you could go to Yaakim's restaurant. Yishkoyach and have a good Tov.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.